acting very suspicious lately?
Mrs. Betsy Hamilton?
The neighbor.
Oh, well, what's wrong with her?
She just seems so sad and not herself.
Oh, well, she's one of them.
Mom, Dad, can I go to Mrs. Hamilton's house? Mrs. Hamilton, it's me, Jonesy.
Jonesy Toms? I haven't seen you in ages. Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm swell, Mrs. Hamilton.
That's lovely. Would you like to join me for some apple slices on the patio?
That sounds good.
How have your mother and father been?
They've been fine.
Where did the plague hit? Because Europe was trading with the East, some medieval Europeans were aware of a mysterious disease sweeping through Asia in the 1300s. The plague eventually made its way to Sicily's seaports, and like the Renaissance, it spread throughout Europe. The plague hit many places like Venice, Marseilles, Paris, Austria, Germany, London, and even Moscow. Unlike the Renaissance, it brought with it poverty, confusion, and chaos. How did the plague get to these places? It was carried by rodents like rats and squirrels, but was transmitted to humans by the fleas who lived on them. If a blood and gorge flea attempted to draw blood from another victim, it invariably injected into that victim some of the blood already within it. If the injected blood contained the bacterium Yersinia pestis, the result was the bubonic plague. How many people died during the Black Death? It is said to be that roughly 75 million died, and 25 million were killed in Europe alone. Were any animals killed during the Black Death? Thousands of farm animals died during the Black Death, either from the plague or from the lack of care. Why was the disease called the Black Death? Because one of the symptoms produced a blackening of the skin around the swellings, or buboes. The buboes were red at first, but later turned a dark purple or black.
Well, I gotta go now. Gotta help Mom with dinner.
Yes, darling. But you be careful now, Jonesy. I'm sure you've heard of that virus that's been going on around the village.
I have. Thank you, Mrs. Hamilton.
Of course.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
What's wrong, Jonesy?
I don't feel too good.
Maybe we should head back home and give you some of Mrs. Molina's remedy.
What were the symptoms? What was it like for a person with the plague? It started with a headache, then chills and fever, which left a person exhausted and prostrate. Maybe the person even experienced nausea, vomiting, back pain, and even soreness in their arms and legs. Bright light was too bright to stand. Within a day or two, the swellings appeared. They were hard, painful, burning lumps on the neck, under the arms, or on the inner thighs. Soon, they turned black, split open, and began to ooze pus and blood. They may have grown to the size of an orange. It was possible to recover, but more than likely, death would come quickly. What were some of the cures during the Black Death? Holding a piece of bread against the buboes and then burying it in the ground was one treatment for the illness. Another treatment for the illness involved keeping the air moving by ringing bells or allowing birds to fly around the room. Lighting a fire in the room was believed to stop the disease. The swellings would be cut open to allow the disease to leave the body. A mixture of tree resin, roots of white lilies, and dried human excrement would be applied to the places where the body had been cut open. They believed that placing a live hen next to the swelling would draw out the pestilence from the body. And to aid recovery, they would drink a glass of their own urine twice a day.
Pockets full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. No, I can't live without them.
It's okay, Mr. Toms. They're in God's hands now.
I shall kill myself tomorrow, by noon.
No, Mr. Toms. You can't do this to yourself.
No, they're both gone.
No! Sir Toms!
I pray God's mercy upon you.